Hi everyone. So a lot of people are wondering how Brian Laundrie died. And I thought we would just do a reading and see what we get. Looks like the autopsy, from what I've heard, was inconclusive. So they sent his bones to an anthropologist to try to see what they could determine. Sounds like they don't even have his full, maybe skeletal remains. So let us see what we get here. I'm thinking if maybe he took pills, a pentacle card might stand for that. I'm thinking if he used a weapon, maybe we would get a swords card. Um, Maybe if he drank something, poison, that might be a cups card. Just trying to think of logical ways. Maybe if he hung himself, I'd get the hanged man. I'm trying to think of cards and what they would could stand for, what would make sense. So those things would kind of make sense to me. Maybe it's none of the above and he did something else, slit his wrists, for instance. I would think that could be like a swords card too, maybe. So I'm just going to concentrate on Brian for a second and the manner of his death. And I'm going to ask about it and we'll read. Okay. Well, I got a lot of cards that came out with that. More than I was hoping for. All right, let's see if I have room to spread them all out here. It's a lot. Okay, it's this card right here. Um, that is the Six of Wands. Now that's a traditionally a a success card, a winner card, right? This person is being very successful. They've just got back from the battlefield, is what this card represents, and that they are very successful and very proud, and other people are congratulating them on their success as well. In tarot readings, I have had this card stand for somebody who was beaten because um, the Six of Wands is a person that just beat somebody else, right? So there's this beat aspect to it. And when it comes out in some of my tarot readings, it's someone who was beaten. It's an interesting card for him because it seems like an injury to the self that was the cause of his death, an injury to the self. Um, but it's not giving me 100% what that injury was. So let me ask for a clarification card. I thought originally he took pills or something, but this is telling me more that, the manner of his death was he did something to himself that caused harm in his body. So let me ask again for clarification on that card. A little bit more about Brian Laundrie and his manner of death. Hmm. Okay, let's see what we get here. What else we get? In my mind, I'm having this image of, I used to work at a jewelry store many moons ago. Well, I think it was right when I graduated from my bachelor's degree in college. And I have two cards with this one. And the woman who, like, her mother owned the jewelry store, but the girl who was supposed to take over the jewelry store, she was an adult woman. And she had had a little girl, and her little girl was born with like just tiny ear defects. You couldn't even, like her ears were just folded down a little bit. She was a girl. She'd grow her hair long. You wouldn't even see it. But this family, they were such perfectionists that they they couldn't handle anything that wasn't perfect because this was their whole life. Everything had to be perfect. And the mother went in the basement and just stabbed herself in the stomach a bunch of times. At what point? Thank goodness she didn't hurt the baby. And her husband went downstairs and said, and found her bleeding, stabbed all over the place, and said, "What have you done?" And she said, "I had something bad in me and I had to kill it." And because that story is coming to my mind when I'm doing this reading, and because I'm seeing the person hurt themselves, they did something to harm themselves, his manner of death may have been something similar to that. I really do. If you go back to my readings before, I think Brian just had a total crack, a break with reality. And I think he was having it before that moment in those woods in that reserve. I think that was going back to when he was with Gabby. I think he was having mental issues. They both may have been having mental issues. I know that's not what people want to hear, but I think they both were experiencing some real challenges, and uh, and I think it started then, and it lasted, and he went home and basically had his kind of final goodbyes with his family without them knowing it. And then he went and did something to harm himself, is what I'm saying, that he physically harmed himself. So we have two more cards. Let's read them and see where we are. All right, so this is the Four of Pentacles, and that is somebody who is keeping things, money and what have you, very close to themselves. It does make me wonder. Remember, I said possibly about pills or something like that, that might show up as a pentacle. It makes me wonder, but let's see, because we got two cards. Okay, and here we have pentacles again. Um, and this one's like stored up, so a lot of pentacles. It does make me wonder about possibly taking pills to harm himself. I'm not 100% sure that's right. Um, but that is what it's making me think, that he just maybe took a lot of something. And the reason I say I'm not sure that's right is because of the Six of Wands, that was the first card that we got. I get it, it was cards signifying that he was beaten, but it was a manner that he did it to himself. But then you have this Four of Pentacles, which is kind of like the greedy card. And then you have this Seven of Pentacles, which is the storing up card. It does look like he may have possibly taken something, a lot of something. Something that he kept maybe, and stored up these pills. Now, I would think, though, that they would have found like a pill bottle with him or something if that was the case, and it doesn't sound like they did I um, from what I have heard. So I'm just going to say I'm not 100% sure. Possibly pills. He did harm himself. I just don't know quite how he did it. Possibly pills. That's kind of the closest thing I could think of with these pentacles. I kind of thought maybe he slit his wrist or something, but I'm not quite seeing that. And I'm not seeing that he hung himself. I'm seeing all these pentacles, which I know they're telling me something. I'm going to ask for one more card. When I'm really unsure, I just like to see if I can get more clarity. So let me focus for just a second. Long before they found him dead, I saw him laying deceased on the top of the ground. But I didn't see why, or how, like what had happened. What's that card? That's definitely the second card. Well, this is the High Priestess. As a clarifying card, the High Priestess is one that is a card of kind of secrets. It does make me think he ingested something. I don't know why. I can't make sense of it, to be honest with you. The only reason I'm saying that is all these little pomegranates in the High Priestess, and it's making me think of something you eat. Yeah, I think he ingested something. It's kind of like what you do with this, you know, they sort of have the pentacles on the plant, like you're growing something, something you would eat, right? And then I'm seeing these pomegranates that are jumping out of me in the High Priestess. And it will remain a secret, I think, is what we're getting with that High Priestess too, because the High Priestess card is a card of inner knowing, inner knowledge. I think his cause of death will remain undetermined. And I think that's because there is no flesh left for them to test to find this substance. But I think he took a substance. And yeah, I think he ingested something. That is what I'm seeing here. And I don't think I don't think they're going to be able to determine what killed him. I'll be surprised if they do. I don't think they're going to be able to, because I think it was something he took, and I think that High Priestess is telling us that it's going to remain inner knowing, like the High Priestess has inner knowledge, but it won't be an outer knowledge. It won't be something we'll know unless he wrote it in the notebook. So we'll see what comes out there, but I kind of think that may remain unknown. Unknown. But I'm seeing he did it to himself, and it looks like it was something that he took a lot of. Took a lot of, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Uh, we'll wait and see if anything more comes out, but don't be surprised if the results are inconclusive even after the anthropologist looks at the body, because I'm seeing that we just may not know, or at least it may not. The tarot's saying what happened, but it may not be officially known in the medical field, discovered. All right, take care. Bye-bye.